Namaste India, good morning. We are back with another episode of Wellness के नुस्खे with Dr. Sujit Paul. आज हम ऐसे कोई विषय में बात करेंगे जिसके बारे में कुछ लोग ही हैं जो इससे रिलेट कर सकते हैं, बट इस विषय के का जो इम्पैक्ट है हम सब पे गिरता है. We'll be talking about the concept of promoter-led organizations versus the corporate organizations. It is not versus, rather promoter-led organizations along with the corporate-led organizations. आप सबको पता है, you all know that India is the land of business. We have a very old civilization जिसमें कॉमर्स का काफ़ी जगहों में उल्लेख है. हमारे कास्ट सिस्टम में भी एक पर्टिकुलर कास्ट है, वाइश्यास, जिनका काम ही है कॉमर्स में इन्वॉल्व होना. India, as you all know, is the land of SMEs and MSMEs. We have lakhs, I would say more than 10 lakhs plus of SMEs and MSMEs. इन सब का काम है बिजनेस में एंगेज रहना. ओके, बट अगर हम नोटिस करें इतने सारे कंपनीज में से देर आर ओनली अ फ्यू कंपनीज विच टेक द लीप ऑफ फेथ. लीप ऑफ फेथ को हम हिंदी में बोल सकते हैं कॉन्फिडेंस की छलांग. कुछ ही कंपनीज है जो कॉन्फिडेंस की छलांग मार पाते हैं और खुद को छोटे से मीडियम और मीडियम से बहुत बड़ा बना पाते हैं. इस जर्नी में जो कंपनीज छोटे से खुद को बड़ा बनाते हैं, हम समझने की आज कोशिश करेंगे कि क्यों वो कंपनीज वो कर पाते हैं और किस परिस्थिति में उनसे ये हो पाता है. सबसे पहले तो मैं आप सबको चाहूँगा कि आप सब हमारे डॉक्टर सुजीत पॉल सर को वेलकम करें. हाय डॉक्टर सुजीत पॉल सर, नमस्कार. ये हमारा सौभाग्य है कि आप हमारे साथ हर एक एपिसोड में पार्टिसिपेट करते हो और हमें नए नए पहलुओं, जीवन के नए नए पहलुओं से हमको अवगत कराते हो सर. So sir, what is your take on this issue that in India only a few companies are able to take that confidence ki chhalang or that leap of faith and become big? What do you feel is the story behind the story?
See, in India we have millions and millions of companies. I think every minute there is a startup that is growing. We have enough amount of SMEs, MSMEs, companies who are at that 50 to 100 crores and similar. But if I ask anyone, even the viewers, tell me the name of few companies in India, you will definitely not name more than 10 companies that will not come in your mind. Now, why is that so? In spite of so many companies that is getting registered, but why you don't have a top of mind more than 5 or 10 company or brands? Now, to transcend from a promoter driven company to a corporation is a complete journey by itself, and this journey is not only painstaking and tedious, but this journey needs lot of articulate craftsmanship to take it, lot of accuracy of vision, lot of strategic movements and plans to ensure that you can know how to get into that journey. And it's a miles and miles journey that you have to take. One is that not that every promoter is willing to take the company to that level, and the other is that yes, it's always a painful journey, so there are very 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 few people. So that's exactly what I said, that out of millions and millions of companies, why do you think that you can't remember at least top 5 or top 10 Indian brands? It's only because it's not everyone's cup of tea to take that journey of leap.
Not everyone's cup of tea. Chai. Tea is something we Indians have in abundance. Even we have some shows which are based on teas and coffees. So sir, चाय से मेरे को याद आया, आप बोल रहे हो कि it's not everyone's cup of tea. I have read this somewhere that every corporation, successful corporation today, once upon a time was a family-driven organization or a promoter-driven organization. What do you reckon is the rationale behind the statement, and is it true what the statement states here?
Yeah, absolutely true. Every corporation, every single corporation worldwide was once aspired by someone and was a promoter-driven company. And trust me, everyone who wants to set a company, initially when they set a company, they feel that they will make the company very very big. It will be a large company with a huge turnover, etc., etc. But it's not everyone's cup of tea that you can build and scale up that organization. Whilst it's true that every large organization that you see today, someday they had registered as a small company, and from there If the promoter have the right kind of vision to genuinely scale up, then the promoter have to take that journey towards that scaling up. And that journey is, what I have been doing from years together in multiple organizations in India and overseas, where we have helped companies to actually grow. But there is a meticulous approach towards it.
There's a meticulous approach towards it. When we take that meticulous approach around it, and when I look at your journey, sir, you would have worked in at least 4 to 5 different parts of India, and even in certain parts of the world which is not India necessarily. I think some of our viewers know and some of them don't know. Do you feel out of these certain factors are endemic only to India, or it's the all-encompassing human mentality which is hindering from that company from becoming big? What's your take, as I'm asking this question specifically vis-a-vis your corporate journey?
Yes. What is it that actually hinders a company to grow is the question. Most of the time, when I met and I've been working with promoters, I saw that the average promoters does not really absorb that growth well, because they are scared that their controls are going. But aspirational promoters, even in India, the large organizations where I have worked with those promoters as well. I have seen them to be heavily aspirational. They believe in people, and genuinely believe in people. And when promoters genuinely believe in people and they start releasing the controls, it cannot be that you believe for 1 year and then after the second year you start taking back control. It collapses. You have to have long-term belief. It's like if you put your money in investments, in mutual funds, in share markets, it have to be long-term. You cannot do intraday trading always. So if a promoter genuinely believes in people and ensures that the visions are set, the pathway of the organization is well carved out, then definitely that organization is poised to grow. But the point is that in India, at least what I see is that the average promoters, then that is the reason you will see that companies hardly grow above 50-100 crores. In India, hardly promoters actually have those kind of mindset to scale up. And since they don't have that mindset to scale up, they don't scale up.
Right points of mindset. Now, when we come to mindset, I'll be harping on this mindset fact. We see off late, many companies are doing their IPOs, and they are listing themselves, and they are listing themselves with all the pomp, all the splendor. They are listing themselves, But however, behind this flood of IPOs, what do you reckon is the mindset? The mindset is to grow the company or just to make a quick buck? With some risk, I'm saying this.
Yeah, sure. It's not about whether you are getting into IPO or not. I think any leader who drives an organization need to ensure that quick bucks are never a solution. Unless for the end consumer, whoever is your consumer, whatever is the consumer, you don't drive genuine value, then that company would never actually be a large corporation. That may be a company that may get into some turnover, some financial numbers, but that will be very short term. Short term can be 10 years, it could be 50 years. That's not the point. The point is, moment you feel that you will drive through the genuine consumer value, then the whole story changes. I don't want, or neither have ever believed that you just draw in consumers inside a movie hall and sell them cold popcorns, or sell them high priced beverages because they cannot go out. That's not what is right. That in that way you cannot win a consumer. It's about, are you genuinely true and caring to give a genuine value of your product, of your organization to the end consumer? That's what drives and compounds to build a large, great, nice organization.
So you're referring to the value, the core value, the basic values, the various sort of values here. Sir, I'll now come to the other side of the coin. Let's say hypothetically, you are a promoter. Hypothetically, you have built the organization and the organization is whatever because of you today. Then you bring in somebody who's a professional manager, who's a CXO level guy. You bring him, that person in the setup. I feel the normal human emotions would dictate that after a particular level, if you see that the things are going out of hand from your perspective, you would again try to assert and control and get back into the things. I know the mess up also happens at this level only. But however, how does a promoter, for the promoters who are watching in and who are glued in here, how do they control that urge to balance the instinct of controlling the system versus allowing the professional to do the things the way it's supposed to be done?
We have seen, and there are enough case studies in India and overseas that when a promoter actually starts getting back onto the field, what kind of mess up have happened. We have enough case studies on that. If as a promoter you have got someone, that's exactly what I told. You have to believe, trust, and give time. Rome have never been built in a day. So if you feel that someone will do a quick move of fat turnover, that will be, trust me, very, very short term, because we don't believe in that. So that urge of always getting in is because the promoters feel that, oh God, there was a time when I used to do everything, when people used to come to me, etc. But a good promoter or a visionary promoter only focuses to see that, yes, is the company shaping up? What was the company earlier and what is the company today? Now that is what a visionary promoter sees. That because a promoter have been in the company for many years. So the promoter exactly knows that what was the company earlier. So moment they see the journey of change, then a good promoter would always say, no, there's something happening which I don't understand. Maybe it's a great idea to have a back seat. Only for that reason you are getting great people. But you cannot get great people and that you cannot understand their way of business, and you feel that, no, why is it happening like this? So a thought process of the promoter, maybe from his perspective, right or wrong is not the point, and the professionals who comes in will be from their perspective, because they have done it over and over and over and over again. So a great promoter always is very patient, because he knows that, okay, it may be a 5-year, 10-year journey, and that's what greatness is about. And a great promoter also knows that in this journey, it's important that whoever the team members are, they have to be well rewarded, and if that does not happen, it's not a one-sided game always.
Very rightly said, sir. Like I could visualize some of the scenarios that you're saying. Sir, in India, we all know there have been very famous cases, or rather I would say infamous cases, of a set of 2 promoter brothers in Delhi who were trying to run a healthcare organization. It did not go the script did not go as per how it was supposed to go. We had another very famous case of a Hyderabad based company, I believe IT organization, where the promoters' practices were questionable. Okay. Now in these kind of scenarios, okay, and we all know about these cases in the corporate boardrooms, not just in the corporate boardrooms, these were first page news everywhere and everyone knew. What do you feel should be the lessons for the promoters and also for the sources of strength of promoter, the CXOs, from these kind of episodes?
See, in India, we have seen enough cases like this. I think you are referring to one of the hospital chains when you mentioned Delhi, where two brothers were there. I understand the reference that you're talking about, the Hyderabad, the IT company. But the point is that in India, there are enough such cases, where we have seen that, there were misappropriation of funds done by people, and they left the country and they're out of country, etc. Now that's exactly what I say, that you have to have a tight control, and where once you get in the professionals, they know that how the control mechanisms are. Now the problem what happens in promoter segments in India is that India works a lot in emotions. So we find, as you mentioned, 2 brothers were there. We find that brothers, relatives, etc., they are there, and typically what happens is that they believe their relatives so much that if they are doing something wrong, they could not see it because these are blood relations maybe. Now there is where a professional steps in and he says, boss, this man is wrong. Now, but when things are all tight within the family, then either you cannot question someone else in the family, or maybe you are too naive to understand that there is something wrong in the family that's happening. Now, because India is more of an emotional country, that's why DDLJ have been so successful in India. Now, that's where when a professional comes in, he becomes ruthless. He understands that, hey, something is going wrong. He also sensitizes and alerts the promoter. Now, whether the promoter understands and takes the alert or not, that's different. But a professional can definitely see that, hey, here there's a wrong that's going through. So that's where you find the essence of good team members coming in, because they also know that okay, if in a family something is going wrong, I can sensitize.
So you said the professional comes in. he comes into the thick of things, and he's expected to be like that Sri Krishna who gives a solution or who points out what is the wrong happening. Now, I'm asking you the point of view of that CXO who has been assigned that role by the promoter to make the things all right. Okay, I'm sure the path for that CXO is not a bed of roses. He has to balance the expectations of the promoter. He has to take care of the feelings of the people who report to him. Also, he has to balance the investors. Sir, tell us what the life of this, sorry, beg your pardon for using this word, the poor CXO is, who is trying to do this incredibly delicate balancing act of balancing, of being like, how do I remember listening to this, like when a man marries, he expects his wife to be like a Mother Teresa in the kitchen and like a Miss Universe in the bed. Similarly, the poor CXO, he has to manage so many things. How does the CXO go about it? Because from whatever I heard, it sounds like an impossible task for me.
Yeah, it's extremely difficult, Arpan. You know, being in the helm of leadership structure, where you have to balance multiple things at the same point of time, you have to do a right fit of culture in the organization, you have to grow the organization. It's an extreme difficult thing that goes through. Keep in mind, as I always say, CEO is the most loneliest person that is there in the organization, because whatever upsetness, whatever frustrations, whatever distortions, whatever issues, he can't discuss with anyone. Neither he can discuss with the family, neither he can discuss with his friends, colleagues, no one. So everything goes inside. So it's a very difficult task actually for anyone who is leading at the top, any professional who is leading at the top, because the promoters would have absolute different kind of mindset, and the promoter wants to change the organization, but the CEO is expected to do everything, and he is expected to be Lord Krishna on the war, and it's a very complex situation that he undergoes every single day. And he also has his emotions, he has his ups and downs, but he can't share it with anyone. He have to kind of digest those things. Now, the cultural misnomer, the cultural misfit, the thought process of the promoters versus the professional thought process, there's a huge sense of amalgamation that have to be built in togetherness. So overall, yes, you're right, it's extremely tough for us to kind of navigate every single day, but I think to win great wars, you have to be a tough person, and you have to know that if I do it every single day in spite of this toughness, then we can build an organization.
Toughness, culture. Sir, you have mentioned quite a times about culture. I wantedly did not go into it, but now I would like to briefly touch upon that culture thing. Okay. For example, a CEO, he has come from 5 or 6 different organizations. Even a CEO is not born a CEO, they also do their hard work. They go through their rigmarole of daily life. They are also balancing things, and they have reached at this level with a fair amount of exposure, with a fair amount of insights from wherever they have gathered it. Now, I'm sure when an organization is transitioning from a promoter-led organization to a CEO-led organization, to a corporate-led organization, okay, the culture would be very different from here to there. What do you feel are the challenges when you're trying to bring all of them into a same culture? Obviously, the employees who are joining in, they'll be as per the culture of the CEO. But however, the promoters, for them, they are seeing their own baby being grown, and they are trying to balance what are the challenges that will be coming in this journey of bringing the promoter to the culture of the overall organization. How does that happen? So
yeah, a good CEO knows that it's extremely important to build an organization with purpose. An average CEO knows that he should build an organization only for turnover. A good CEO knows that if an organization is built for purpose and value, turnover is a byproduct of that. So automatically turnover comes in. But in this journey, what happens is that the promoters have a different kind of mindset. The CEO definitely wants to build an organization. That's why large organizations worldwide have been built. Now, the biggest compromise, the biggest hit actually goes to the CEO, because people below him, he knows that what are their wants, what are their likes, what are their dislikes, what he should do to them to ensure that they are well contented, they are happy, they are well fit in the organization. Because these are the set of people who are the fresh blood infusion that's happening. But for the CEO, he don't have someone who can think in a similar line to take care of him, but he is also a human being made with blood and flesh at the end of the day.
Pretty much lone battle for him, pretty much.
Yeah, it's a pretty much lone battle for him. So a CEO cries, but you can't see the tears. And that's what makes a great CEO to be strong, to build a foundation, that he knows that, okay, even if I have not too many people to understand what I need, but it's my duty to ensure that my people are well taken care of. At least here I can build the organization. Let me hold on compromise to the level that I can, and there is where I can build back. Because for us what happens is that we are out of home most of the time. We are traveling all across, we are shifting beds through different hotels, we eat food outside, we can't meet our families, we can't see our families. We are only working for the organizational greatness. We are only working to build organization, and I have done it for years together. I have built multiple organizations like this. But I have compromised when my son was growing up, and I could not even see him growing up. When my family needed me the most, I could not spend time there because either I had to be in the board meetings or in the investors meetings or similar. So the life of a CEO is actually the most toughest thing. But if it's my people, my business heads, when they come to me, I know that this is what I need to do for them. But it's not always true for me and the others, because unless you work with the very large promoters, then the questions are a little different. Who also understands you well, and that's where it works. But for a mid-sized organization, till that mid-sized organization grows larger, it does not that till such time the CEO will keep fighting a lone battle, and the CEO have to hold it strong because he need to build that organization of excellence. So for a CEO, it's extremely difficult day in day out that he actually goes through. It's like my wife manages the home and I don't even know, and just because I have the best wife, I know that she can still manage, and I can still go and build organization that will add value to India. And I know that I'm doing it so that India can become much more healthy, much more accessing to affordable healthcare, so on and so forth. I can build a great organization that India can be proud of. But at the same point of time, I'm compromising multiple things at my personal level.
So as I hear more of you, sir, about the values, the culture, okay, now I'll be coming to a point which I feel is more of a modern day problem. It could be an old problem also. I would not use the word problem, it's a situation. With the increasing use of technology, especially post-COVID, with all sorts of these messaging video platforms, I am sure you have your own food routines, you have your own lifestyle, you have your own personal life also. How do you balance your work life, continuously staying connected? There is something like, I heard something like a digital detox or digital dissonance also. So your work-life balance, your digital dissonance, your health, how does it all go together from a CXO point of view, sir?
Okay. For people who work in very large organizations, they have a better orientation, because typically what happens is that they will have their personal butlers and personal chefs, etc. For people who work in mid-sized organizations, that luxury does not come. So they have to somehow balance and kind of orient in the way that is available for them at that point of time. For great leaders who have worked in very large organizations, they have seen that those organizations tries to take care of their leadership as much as possible, because they know that if they take care well of their leadership, then those are the people who would deliver better as well, mentally and physically. That is the reason you will see that there are multiple ways that leadership teams are taken care of. But a mid-sized organization, it does not usually happens in that way. So there is where a lot of things comes as folding and unfolding by itself. But for me personally, I try to be as flexible as possible, and you know, people who have worked with me, they have seen and known that I'm as much flexible possible. But yes, you're right that, you know, it does takes a lot of toll on health, on your stomach, on your gut, on your sleep. It does takes a lot of toll because, but as I always say, if you have to build a great organization, this will be there. But yes, I think, you know, people have to still take care of their health as much as possible.
For the benefit of my viewers, the audience, do you never feel tired?
Yes, I do. But still I continue to work.
All right, he's also a human like you.
So yes, I do, but you know, but still I continue to work because when your aspirations are there that, you know, you will build a large, great, nice, best organization, then you have to overcome the tiredness. So that's the passion that you drive. But yes, definitely, you know, I too get my fatigues, I too get my tiredness, everything, but I try to overcome those as well.
So for very key takeaway from sir's message, आप सब जो संघर्ष कर रहे हैं अपने ज़िंदगी में, for the CEOs who are trying to build up the organizations in a good way for the future, for the mothers who are trying to run the household, okay, मेरे को आपको सबको बोलना चाहता हूँ मैं कि संघर्ष तो आपको करना पड़ेगा. बहुत फेमस कहावत है काफ़ी सारे रिलीजियस स्क्रिप्चर्स में, कष्ट नहीं करोगे तो श्री कृष्ण नहीं मिलेंगे. तो कष्ट तो करना पड़ेगा. सर कष्ट से याद आया, स्पेशली जहाँ तक बड़े ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस की बात है, बिग ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, they have their set processes, they are getting talent, and for them it's not a big deal, they have a brand also. But now, especially from the perspective of a mid-size organization, let's say the mid-size organization is not even in a metro city, it's in some other city. How do you even like attract the talent? I know there is some strategy behind it, I'm not saying there's definitely a method behind the madness, but isn't it very challenging to get manpower in this like mid-size organization, that too in a non-metro location? Yes. How do you go about it, sir?
Yes, it's extremely challenging to get good, right people, good, right, relevant people in mid-size organization where the brand is not there, the brand is not powerful, etc., etc. But there is, you know, where you have to use your personal influences and get the right kind of resource, because if I'm the captain of the ship, I need to ensure that I have the best of sailors in the ship who can navigate the boat.
You mentioned the captain of the ship. When we mention the captain of the ship, the captain is the captain because of the team, very rightly you have said. But again, one part of the team which people don't notice that go along with the captain are the physios, the psychologists, okay, the physios, the psychologists, the support staff. Of course, you are selecting the team with the help of whatever support function is there, with the help of your personal influence. But what do you feel is the role of these external advisors in this entire journey of shaping up the mid-size organization to a very large organization, sir? External advisors.
See, what happens is that, you know, when I advise other companies or similar, I always tell them that be very, very focused as to, you know, what you want to aspire to build your organization for. And once you are very